How much do I need to pay you in order to move a load like this? These are the loads that absolutely nobody wants to do. Welcome to the topic of oversized and heavy haul freight. Let's be real, trucking isn't what it used to be. Freight rates are down, insurance costs are up, and a lot of drivers are struggling just to keep their trucks profitable. But here's the interesting thing. While most of the industry tightens up, one corner of the trucking continues to pay big. That's oversized and overdimensional freight. And lately, more and more drivers are asking the same question. Is this where the big money's at in trucking? The short answer is yes, it can be. Let's look at the November national average freight rates. The national average freight rates for regular flatbed loads is around $2.51 per mile, but when you step into oversized and overdimensional territory, that number can jump easily to $3.50 per mile or more. So why do these loads pay so much more? Well, let's break that down in this video. With standard flatbed freight, like lumber, plywood, construction material, the value of those truckloads might be anywhere between $20,000 to $50,000. But with overdimensional freight, like bulldozers, turbines, steel beams, or industrial pipes, now we're looking at a whole nother ballgame. And these categories of freight might be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And when a shipper trusts you with that kind of load, they're not just shopping around for the cheapest truck out there. They're paying for reliability, for precision, and for professionalism. And that's why these loads come with premium rates. Let's think about it from a buyer's perspective, just so you can understand why this freight pays so much more. If you're buying equipment that is worth $300,000 and you need to pay $9,000 to transport that equipment, well, you're only looking at about 3% of your actual cost that goes on transportation. Now, if you do the same mathematical equation when you're transporting a load of lumber, well, that could be about a $4,000 pay to the carrier on a $40,000 load. That's 10%, and that's a significant increase to your cost of goods. Let me dive a little bit deeper. Let's say you have two loads coming out of California, both of them going to Colorado. That's approximately a 1,000-mile trip. One load is soft lumber, and you have another manufacturing plant that is shipping out turbines. The cost of shipping the overdimensional turbines are going to cost about $5,000, and the cost of shipping the soft lumber, well, that's going to cost you about $3,000. Now, the cost of the soft lumber is $40,000, and the cost of those turbines are $285,000. So if you take $5,000 and you divide it by $285,000, well, that's only 1.875% of the cost of goods. Now, if you take $3,000 and you divide that by $40,000, well, that's 7.5% of the overall cost of goods to pay for the trucking. Now, overdimensional trucking is not for the faint of heart. Every move requires special permits, routing, restricted travel hours, escort coordination, and constant communication. You'll often drive slower, avoid certain highways, and wait for daylight clearance. You're carrying more risk and more responsibility, so you get paid more to do that. Even small oversized loads that don't need escort often reach $3.50 a mile because of the additional planning, permits, and precision required. Now, to haul overdimensional freight, you'll need the right load securement gear like heavy-duty chains, binders, straps, flags, and lighting systems that meet the DOT standards. And that's where Verduyn comes in. Now, Verduyn carries specialized securement gear specifically designed for oversized and overdimensional freight. They offer a full lineup of oversized cargo equipment, including wide load flags, securement straps, corner protectors, lighting systems. They also have 16 and 8-foot ramps that are compatible with both flatbeds and step decks. Now, why does that matter? Because when you're hauling freight worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, you can't afford to cut corners on mandatory safety equipment. We have purchased equipment and gear from Verduyn for over 15 years now. Even though we don't offer overdimensional services, we're constantly purchasing chains, binders, straps, and load bars from Verduyn. They have multiple locations in the US and in Canada, which makes it really easy for fleets to get a hold of their equipment. I highly recommend you check them out. Now, most carriers avoid overdimensional freight because it's complicated. They don't want to deal with permits, escorts, or the risk. But that's exactly why the drivers who do it, they make a lot more money doing it. You're not competing against thousands of trucks chasing the same $2 a mile on load boards such as DAT and LoadLink. You're handling freight that only a selected few can legally move. Now that specialization creates shortage, and shortage of drivers creates higher profits. So while the trucking industry as a whole faces tighter margins, the drivers hauling over-dimensional loads are still laughing with the amount of money they're making. Why? Because they're invested in the right equipment, knowledge, and reputation. If you're a driver ready to level up and you're tired of chasing cheap freight, start learning what it takes to get into over-dimensional hauling. It's not easy, it's not simple, but it's one of the most respected and best paying jobs in the entire trucking industry. Now, for those of you out there that have transitioned from a regular driver to an over-dimensional driver, I'd love to hear about your transition. Is it as hard as they say it is? And is it even worth the money? Can't wait to read it in the comments. I'm Ronen, and I'll catch you in my next video.